Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm very happy to see you, and today I'm going to take you to my kitchen again, and this time around I'm going to make yummy twice baked potatoes. Is there anyone who doesn't like potatoes? Because I absolutely love it. I don't know, fried potatoes, baked potatoes, mashed potatoes. You can just boil it in water and it's still tasty. Although actually it wasn't until 18th century that people in Europe started using potatoes, because potatoes originally come from South America. So people of Peru, Bolivia, they were using potatoes. They've been using it for centuries, and they're using it for food. They were actually sometimes cooking it in water, drying in the sun, and then using it as a powder to fix their hair. It had lots of different uses. But we don't know exactly who brought potatoes to Europe, because the first written official mention of potatoes, and by the way, people there called it papa. Isn't this an awesome name for potatoes? Papa. And first we read about papa in a book of a Spanish author. He was writing about Peru. It's called Crónica del Perú, and he writes there that papa is a nut from the ground. Called it a nut. It's hard, but when you cook it, it becomes soft. However, this book was published in 1553, so in 16th century, but people didn't use potatoes for food there until 18th century, like for 200 years. It's crazy. They were using potatoes for decorative reasons, like potato flowers. It's known that French Queen Marie Antoinette, she would actually decorate her hair with potato flowers, not actual potatoes. And those flowers are really toxic, and some people try to make tea with them and obviously get poisoned. Doctors at the time said it can cause mental illnesses. And it wasn't until 18th century when one French pharmacist named Antoine actually gave credit, finally appreciated the nutritional value of potatoes. It happened because then in 1755 in France there was a great famine, and it was so bad that the authorities in Paris, they in fact announced that anyone who discovers some sort of alternative source of nutrition and food, they would give a prize to them. And pharmacist Antoine, he writes a composition and presents it to the authorities, and he won the prize back then. And it really helped because people started planting potatoes, but not everyone was happy with it, because for 200 years people had heard this horror stories about flowers of potatoes being toxic and people getting poisoned because of them. They didn't want to plant it, and it got to the point where in England, English peasants were given golden medals if they were planting potatoes. And in Prussia, the king of Prussia even actually issued an edict where it said that anyone who refuses to plant potatoes should have their nose and their ears cut. So that's pretty harsh, I think. So in a way, people were sort of forced to plant potatoes in a lot of places, and potatoes had a hard time into implementing and into the food industry, implementing themselves. And it's good that they did, though, because I mean, it's crazy. I feel so sorry for people who didn't eat potatoes, because it's really, really yummy. And anyways, enough of history. Let's now move to my kitchen, where I will make yummy twice baked potatoes and white rice. I don't know, why not? Let's move to my kitchen. So here are the ingredients for twice baked potatoes recipe. Here I have 4 rather big potatoes that of course need to be cleaned, and I tried to choose potatoes that were equal in size, more or less. Then we're going to need some salt, just for the seasoning, and of course a tad bit of cooking oil, very, very little, not virgin oil, cooking oil, and I decided to go with corn oil. Then we're going to need some cheese, and here I'm going to use cream cheese, but you can use any sort of cheese, like hard cheese, whatever you like. Then to make the potatoes softer, the stuffing, a bit of milk and some butter. Some people use egg yolk too. I've never tried that. Of course, green onions, because I love green onions, and a tad bit of well-ground paprika and black pepper. So very simple. I don't think you can get a recipe more simple than this, really. So prepare the foil and put your potatoes on it, and then put a tad bit of oil onto your palm and start massaging the oil into the skin of the potatoes. Don't put too much oil, otherwise it'll burn, and there's nothing worse than burnt oil. So just a tad. And when you're done, just put these potatoes into a preheated oven for 40 minutes. So while the potatoes are in the oven, you just need to chop the spring onion. And I really love spring onion. I don't really love white onion heads when they're raw, but spring onion is so much tastier, I think, and it's better tolerated, at least by my stomach. So after 40 minutes, you take the potatoes out of the oven, and this is what they should look like, a little wrinkled. Then take a knife and cut very thin slice layer from the top, like that. Of course, you can wait until they cool. Then take that top piece and just scoop out the cooked potato off it and put it into a container. See, I'm doing it very gently, because if you hurt or damage the skin of the potato, then all of this effort is going to be ruined. This is what it should look like at the end. A little crispy, but I promise it's worth it. And then once you're done doing it with all the potatoes, you take that top layer and this to secure the bottom so that the potato doesn't break, okay? It also gives us additional height, so when we put the stuffing into this, it will look as if we have more potatoes than what we started off with, which is awesome. So now I'm adding the butter. You can add as much butter as you desire. You might even actually skip, but I don't know. I love butter, a little bit of it. A little bit of milk, just a tad. And like I said, some people also add egg yolks, but I'm not going to do that. I just have never tried it actually. And of course, I'm adding the chopped green onion, which is going to give it such a wonderful flavor. Now I'm adding my cream cheese, and my sister was with me when I was making it, and she was like, "Oh my god, you added butter and now cream cheese." Yes, okay, because I can. A bit of salt, because the cream cheese isn't salty at all, and mix it. And we need to make this look really nice and really creamy. So when you eat it, it feels as if it's melting in your mouth. So make sure you really, really, really mix it well and mash it really, really well. Now my sister is trying to help me, and she's doing it really, really well, so thumbs up to her. So now I'm adding the black pepper and just a tad bit of it, not to overwhelm. And Miss ASMR is showing you her green tea with the beautiful mint leaves that I tried myself. They open so nicely in the tea. So then I'm adding some paprika, and again mixing it well until everything is really blended together well. This is what it should look like in the end. And you just need to take it and put it back into the potatoes. And it's gonna look like we've started with less potato than now. That's it. Look how yummy they already look. Then I take a fork. You may actually skip this, but I decided to do this. And I do this manipulations, I don't know how they're called. And I'm doing this because once I put these into the oven, they're going to really, like the parts that are picking out, they're going to really create a nice, uneven, crispy layer. And it's going to look really awesome, as you will see. I'm going to put tiny slices of butter on top, and then I'm going to put it into the oven for about 20-30 minutes. Wow, look how pretty and yummy this looks. Really crispy outside and really, really nice and creamy in. I decided to serve it with some chica, which is basically red pepper jam. That was a really odd description. I hope you know what it is. It's like ketchup, but yummier. So there you go. My twice baked potato. That is so easy to make and so yummy. I would also suggest that you eat it while it's still warm, and don't prepare it and then reheat it, because I think potatoes, as yummy as they are, when they get reheated, they just really lose the yumminess and the creaminess, and they just don't taste as good. So make sure you eat it fresh. I hope you try this. I hope you love it. And I hope you share this with me like you usually do. Of course, you can experiment with the ingredients. You may, add to the potatoes what I put, which was spring onion and some cream cheese. But of course you can put some bacon, or you can make it vegan using oil instead of butter, and maybe putting some mushrooms in it. You can really do whatever you like with this, and there's absolutely